In this video, I'm going to create drawing for 5 hours and at the end I will burn it. Not out of anger, not out of frustration, but because of the question, how much is your art actually worth? When you are a kid, you draw everywhere. On sand, on paper, sometimes even on the walls. You don't think about value. You don't think about money. You just create. And slowly, that creativity becomes part of who you are. People start noticing, they see your passion, they see your soul in your drawings, and for a moment it feels like your art has value. Because people react, they compliment you, they encourage you. But later, you start to understand something different. It's not valued by kind words, it's valued by money. It's how much someone is actually willing to pay for it. People say the price of your art depends on your skill, your professionalism, the time you spend, the tools you use. But even then, people still gives you opinions. They tell you what your art is worth. At the end it's just that, an opinion. Because after they value your work, they walk away. They don't buy it. And that's when the real question appears. How much is worth to me? Do I actually need it? They look at your work, they feel something, and then they pay with nothing but the reaction, a like, a comment, a feeling. But that doesn't feed you, it doesn't give you stability, it doesn't pay for your time. Like working 8 to 12 hours in the factory, and instead of getting paid, you receive a thank you, a compliment, maybe even your photo on the wall for being a good worker, and that's it. How fair will that feel? Because that's exactly how we treat artists. And I'm not saying I deserve high salary. I'm not saying my work should be worth hundreds or thousands, because the reality is 99% of artists struggle to survive today. To spend 8 to 12 hours on a piece and not even earn the minimum hourly wage, that's not just unfair, it's absurd. Yes, I understand the argument. People will say, if you create original work, not commissions, if it's not personally valuable to someone, it has no monetary value. And finding someone who is willing to pay feels like a mission impossible. So today I want to show my work and ask a real question. How much I'm worth and how much my art worth. Not in word, not in opinions, but in the money. Real money. It's easy to say, this is good, this is interesting, this is emotional. But would you willing to buy it right now? This drawing took me 5 hours and I made it without any references, no examples, no guidances, just from my mind, from what I'm capable of today. Started as always with the small thumbnail sketches, searching for idea, a composition, a direction, and this is the final result. It's not perfect, but it reflects how I feel. It reflects my current ability to create something original. And for me, its value is internal, not external. It represents my own conflict. But if that internal value has no reflection in the real world, it doesn't translate into real survival, then what is worth? So today this piece was created to be destroyed. Because right now our art is valued by attention, an emotion, but not by money, not in the way that reflects our effort. So from today, in every video on this channel, one artwork will be created and one artwork will be burned until something changes. Until artists, starting from myself, find the way to be valued for their work. And now, with the hope and no anger, I let this piece go.